Okay, let us start. So, yesterday we discussed the concept of implementation of convolution neural networks from scratch without using the torch libraries. Now, I am going to continue for the next topic. Before going to continuing and start the next topic, that is called the transfer learning, I just wanted to bridge the gap between yesterday's topic and the topic which we are going to discuss with a small exercise. Fine, so that it will brush up you to recollect how to build a CNN using torch modules. That's it. It's a simple exercise that we are going to do right now. So I'm releasing the exercise, that is PSCL CNN assignment 12. CNN assignment 12. This is the assignment. Are you able to fetch? So the next topic which I am going to talk is the transfer learning. So yesterday we finished the task of building a convolution neural network from scratch without using torch libraries. We have implemented our own layers, activation functions, derivatives and all these things and trained our model, not it? Okay, let me check with the team. Give me some time. You can see that this is the exercise. Let me give a brief of about this exercise. Assignment 12. As I said, we are going to bridge the gap between yesterday's task and the next topic that we are going to discuss. Just we are giving an opportunity to brush up using the torch modules and the corresponding layers to build a CNN. That's it. Nothing else is here. So I'm asking you to build a convolution neural network for animated faces classification. Do you remember animated faces is the data set which we are working from the day one of this CNN sessions, which is having the two subclasses. One is the faces with glasses and faces without glasses, right? What I am asking is there are two classes, two class classification problem. The image animated face has to be classified whether it is wearing the glasses or not wearing the glasses. That is the task of this model. In order to do that classification, you are asking to build a CNN using the torch NN module. I am just giving you providing the details to get the syntaxes. So to build the convolution layers, you are supposed to use conv 2D with the format and the syntax is input channels. If it is a grayscale image 1, if it is the color image, it will be 3 input channels for the first convolution layer. Then the second is out channels, number of filters or the kernels that you are applying, and what is the size of the kernel with the striding and padding. This is the sequence you need to specify all the parameters of the conv2D function of the torch library. Then max pool 2D is the function which you can use for the pooling, performing the pooling operation. Its syntax is specifying the kernel size and the stride. Done. The next, another is the building the fully connected layer or the dense layer. Linear is the corresponding. With the syntax is number of input features and the number of nodes in that hidden layer, out features. And activation functions are ReLU, sigmoid and tanh. All these were defined in the NN module, neural network module of the torch library. So first of all, you need to implement that one. So this is the CNN architecture given to you to build it. Okay? Right. What is, let me back to this CNN architecture in a few seconds. So your assignment is classification using CNN architecture. All the libraries were given because this part you already done it. So I am providing the entire code. Whatever is required, those only have been asked. So data preparation. Okay. Right. Because our images are in different sizes, we are fixing it to the 32 by 32 images. It's your choice. Okay. This part also we had executed in the beginning sessions. and this is the directory, data directory where this anim face is available, and you had applied, you loaded this, created the data set by applying this transformation, and indices were defined, and train data set, test data set, loaders, all these were defined. This part is over. Now what is your task is, this is your task. It is asked to implement the given CNN architecture with the class name of anim CNN. CNN for animated data set. Here you are supposed to write the code which defines the given architecture. That's it, your job. Rest of the part is given to you. So once you complete this part, this is the step which initializes your model by creating the instance of the anim CNN class with the number of classes. This number of classes already been calculated somewhere. Here it is. From the length of the data set classes, you will get the number of classes. So how many classes we are having? 2, classes and no classes. And the training part and training. So we will discuss this training settings and training part after a while. Right. Let me back to this CNN architecture. Just have a look on the CNN architecture. Can anyone tell what is this architecture? Anybody, if you remember? Ma? Someone is saying. Okay, no problem. Okay, look at here. 32 by 32 is the input size required, defined. Okay, we already done it in the transformation. Done. So one convolution layer, the first convolution layer with the 6 filters, and filter size is 5 by 5, and the striding is 1 and no padding. This is the output you are getting. Okay? Right. Next, max pooling with the 2 by 2 window size and striding 2. Next, second convolution layer. So, with the sequence of number, it will become C3, convolution, and third layer, C3. So, second convolution layer with the 16 filters. Filter size is 5 by 5, striding is 1 and padding is 0. The next, again max pooling operation with the same window size 2 by 2 and the striding 2 by 2. Next, it has to be flattened, NF, 2 convolution layers and 2 max pooling layers. Now it has to be flattened. What is the output that you are getting after this second convolution? 16 filters, each of this size, 16 output features, each of this size 5 by 5. Now once it is flattened, 16 into 5 into 5. That has to be connected to the 120 units. Now 120 units next connected to the fully connected layer 84. And the 84 now connected to the next another layer, last fully connected layer 10 nodes. But here this 10 is the number of classes in your data set should get matched with this. Now this 10 has to be modified, 10 will not work out. This 10 has to be replaced with the number of classes in your data set. So implement this architecture and write the code here. That is only your task. Rest of the part is done. So I guess you people are well aware of implementing this convolution neural networks. So I am not focusing on that part of the concept for the explanation or something else. Only my focus is on make you people to build on yourself, implementing on yourself. So NN module, what are the NN module? Required NN modules were designed and listed in the instruction part. Define the convolution layers with the dimensions which I mentioned, specifications which I gave, and perform the forward operation. Here you need to define the anim CNN class with the two things. One is the defining the layers that you want. Second is the forward operation. Right? Meaning that how these layers will work out with the input. Guys, are you clear what I am asking? You just have to implement the given CNN architecture. We started defining the class named anim CNN, which is inheriting the NN module. So define two things. One is the constructor init method. Second is the forward pass. The constructor, you need to define all the layers, whatever is asked and described in the instructions. In the forward pass, do perform the forward operation by applying all the layers on the input. Anybody? It's a very simple thing, implementing a CNN architecture. Define the layers, given layers, and then apply these layers on the input. One is overwriting the constructor init method of the class. Second is the forward method. Given an input, it has to apply all the layers in the same sequence which is given in the architecture. Here the NN module is also given to you. Torch.nn, all these were defined in this format syntax, conv 2D, C is capital. So define the first layer by calling this conv 2D. Done? Sorry? Forward pass? Write down. What is the... So once you define these layers, given an input, how will you do this forward? With reference variable self. Already you defined these layers in self filter, and the input some parameter x, or let it be input. So for inputs, what is the structure? First convolution is to be applied. How you define this conv 2D? First layer C1, right. Pass this input to C1, then obviously it would be passed to the ReLU, then it would be passed to the max pooling, right or wrong? So you have to define first convolution layer. Take it is the same variable name C1 with how many, what is the structure is this one. Input channel, first convolution input channels 3, it is a color image, we have seen that. And output channels, how many channels I mentioned? 6. Kernel size 5. And what is that next? Striding 1, padding 0. This is the first layer, that how you define first convolution C1. And similarly, one more convolution we are having in our network. Okay, let it be whatever the parameter is, C3 or C2, whatever it is. So how you need to define? Now the input channels is nothing but the output of the previous. How many channels, output channels in the first convolution? 6. How many output channels in the first convolution? 6. That 6 will be the input channel for the next convolution. So for the second convolution layer that you are defining C2, following the same syntax, in channels will be the out channels of the previous. Then how many channels, how many filters now you wanted to apply? What I ask you here, 16? Right, 16. Rest of the thing is same. So only 2 convolution layers, done, definition over. Next is the max pooling. Max pooling is the same strategy, right? Max pooling of window size 2 by 2 and stride is 2 by 2 fixed, nothing is changed. So one time you need to define the max pooling layer. So max pool you are defined with the following the content, this syntax, max pool 2D of kernel size and stride. Okay, you need to pass the tuples. Just we can pass either tuples or specify these values. Kernel size equal to, kernel size equal to, what is the size? 2. Stride equal to 2. That's it. Max pooling is over. Next, linear layer. Define a linear layer. Fully connected layer. How many fully connected layers we are having in our architecture? 1, 2, 3. Right? Once the flattening is done, this number to 120, 120 to 84, 84 to your number of features. Yes, 84 instead of 10. That's what note is given. The number of classes in the data set determines the number of nodes in the final dense layer. How many number of classes in your data set that you already defined in your data? Number of classes equal to length of data set. That is there in this variable number of classes. So this number of classes has to be passed to this one. So pass it in the, when you are defining the constructor. Okay. So with that, so define the first fully connected layer with how much? Input nodes are 16 into 5 into 5. How many nodes in first fully connected layer? Reshaping you could do in the forward pass. The output of the reshaping is done. The number of nodes, once the flattening is done, what is the input parameters? 16 into 5 into 5. Multiplication is done. No, here this is one convolution, pooling, convolution, pooling. No convolution, this label is C5, that's what I am coming to this, don't get confused. That's what the structure is given. The structure was given in a typical understanding manner only, but that is not the convolution operation. Look at here. The 16 into 5 into 5 is being connected to 120 units. It's not the meaning of applying the convolution again and with 120 filters. Okay, right. So one fully connected layer, this is one fully connected, 3 fully connected layers. So 16 into 5 into 5 will get connected to the 120 nodes. So first fully connected layer with input feature is 16 into 5 into 5 multiplication, and the output features is 120. Now one more fully connected layer which is NN dot linear with 120 as the input and 84 is the output. Next, third fully connected layer, again NN dot linear with 84 is the in features and what is out features? Number of classes. That's it. Good. So you define the first fully connected layer with the input feature 16 into 5 into 5. That's done. So while performing the forward pass, before sending the output of the previous to this fully connected layer, flattening is to be done. How will you do this flattening? View. That's it. I think I didn't write any test cases and the validation code on the specific activation function. Yes. It's your choice of using activation functions. So once the layers are defined, okay, some activation function like ReLU or sigmoid, whatever is your choice. So in the forward method, pass the input to the first convolution layer, that output to the ReLU, that output to the max pooling. So that one module of the convolution layer will get complete. Now pass this output, store it in a variable. Step by step you can do. So when you are applying these operations, convolutions, take it as a block of code. Here in this structure, the sequence is given. So one convolution, max pooling, one convolution followed by the activation with the max pooling is one set. Similarly, the second set. Now the output of the second convolution followed the max pooling is to be reshaped. Now that reshaped output is need to be passed to the first fully connected layer. That output to the second fully connected layer. That output to the third fully connected layer, so that you will get the final output which has to be written by the forward method. You don't need to define any backward methods. Only two things supposed to be written. One is the structure, defining whatever the layers that you want to implement, and applying those layers in which sequence. The sequence is given in the image itself. There are around 7 to 9 submissions, but no one graded. Only the specified architecture you need to implement. Okay, listen, you can try it afterwards. So once you implement the architecture here, the next step is instantiating the model, done. Next, do the training settings. What does it mean? You have to define the loss function and the optimizer supposed to be used. So that's what we did it here using NN dot cross entropy loss. We defined our criterion and we are using the Adam optimizer. As an optimizer, we are storing it into the variable with the learning rate is 0.001 that you can specify. Now this is important. Henceforth, we are going to work on the CUDA environment. These are the statements which helps you to identify the CUDA device, GPU device. So the function is torch.device is the method to detect the device. The condition is if torch CUDA.is available is the method which will check whether that CUDA is available or not. If it is available, then CUDA will be identified and defined as the device. Otherwise, the CPU will be defined as the device. This part you have done it in fine tuning sessions which has taken by the Neil sir, hopefully, right? Thursday sessions of the last 2 sessions. So henceforth we are going to use this one. Till now it's not required for us. Now going onwards this is mandatory for us because we are going to work with the high data sets and high end complicated architectures. So we need to process our computations, we need to speed up our computations. So mandatorily we are supposed to use the GPU devices. These are the statements which helps you to define the device. Am I clear? If you have any doubts regarding the CNN implementation itself, this I am going to explain, utilize this session. I am not going to repeat it again and again. Fine. Once the device is identified, henceforth we need to move our model and the parameters during the training process and the evaluation as well to that particular devices. We have to move our model and the parameters also. This you can do with 2 methods with respect to the model. Model.to or the parameter.to of that particular device. This is the way we are writing to move the models and the parameters to that particular identified device. We have identified our device into the variable device. So that for that device you need to move the models. 1. This is the part of the training settings. Once done, remember and listen here, this will help you to do your next exercise. In the next exercise, all these things were asked, related things. Now, initializes the training. Yesterday we had implemented our own training, similar pattern. But the thing is there, we have used our own. Here we are using the NN module libraries. Fine. Okay, how we defined our training model? By passing the model which we defined. Okay, anim CNN and passing the data set. We have our data set in the trained loaders. What is the trained loaders consisting of? Data in terms of mini batches. The pre-processing phase itself. Starting from the entire data set, applying the transformations and dividing into the data sets and dividing into the mini batches. So that the data is ready for processing and feeding it to the neural network. That is what there in the train loaders. That part has been executed, implemented and executed and is given. So passing this train loader and criteria that we just defined, nothing but the loss function and the optimizer we defined and the number of epochs you wanted to learn. What? Okay, right. So what we are doing, first step is we need to set our model in training mode. We are using and you are writing also model.train, model.evaluate. What does it the meaning? Setting into the training mode means what? Parameters will get updated during the training process. So meaning that this is the main point, which enables the dropout and batch normalization if any in your network. This will be enabled also. During the evaluation mode, once you set the model to the evaluation, this will become disabled. That is the differentiation. Okay, next. For each of the epoch, in number of epochs, we are calculating the running loss and the number of predictions and total number of predictions. Using that, we are going to calculate the accuracy, which helps us to calculate the accuracy of the network. Okay, now train loader is here enter where the training data set is there in terms of mini batches. For each of the image and the label input output pair from this train loader, what I said, henceforth we already identified the device where you wanted to work. Now these parameters and the input, all these things need to be shifted to the same device. Model is already been shifted to that location, device. Now these parameters also means what is the images and the labels on which this model has to execute and run, these also need to be shifted to the same device. Suppose we are finding two devices, GPU 1 and GPU 2, and model is there on one GPU device and parameters are there on another GPU device, it will not work out. That you can experience with the case of parallel programming. Okay, it will come to you in 3.2, there I can explain that concept. With the parallel programming, you can experience that knowledge. Leave that aside. So we have identified the device that is there in the variable device. So move these images to that and labels also to the same device. That you can do with, as I said, the .2 of device. Both the images and the labels to be shifted. Once you shift it, we have to create the instance of that also once again. So we are once moved to those devices, we are restoring into the same variable names or else into the another variable names. You can keep that one. Right. This part is over. The next step is we are going to start our training. Okay. We defined our own optimizer, which is the Adam optimizer. Earlier gradients, if any things are there, that has to be cleared. For each epoch, it has to be done, right? So it is clearing the previous gradients. That you can do with .0_grad method of the optimizer. Then it's clear now. Now perform the forward pass. The model is, our model is named model. For the model, you have to pass the input, nothing but the images, which will produce as the output. Now with these outputs and your actual output, nothing but the labels, obtained output and actual output, you are applying criteria function which you have defined, that is the cross entropy loss, so that you will get the loss value. Right? Now, what is the next step? Back propagation. So that you can do starting from the loss dot backward. We haven't yet defined the backward method of any classes. Automatically we are calling it. No need of that one. So just simply call the backward of the loss. It will start performing the back propagation by computing the gradients of the loss with respect to all the parameters. It will start. So once back propagation is done, then the next step is updating the parameters. That you can do with the step method of optimizer. Optimizer dot step will update the model parameters using this optimizer. Right? In the optimizer itself, we specified the learning rate, how much you wanted to. right, where it is training settings, yes. What you are updating? Model parameters, okay, and LR with the specified learning rate. Okay, this is the common step. We are calculating the running loss, accumulating the loss, and what is that total number of samples we are calculating. This is for finding the accuracy of the predictions. And then we calculated the number of correctly predictions. Now with the help of this one, we are able to calculate the loss for each epo along with the accuracy. These are supporting methods, not mandatory for visualizing this information. This part is. Your job is up to this one. Majorly this is up to this one. For finding the accuracy and displaying the accuracy, these are the parameters required. Okay, this is how we have done training our neural network. The next is the evaluation. Once the model is trained, then we need to study the performance of the model on another sample set of data. That data we are taking as a test loader. Okay. Now in the model, while evaluating the model, first you need to set the model to the evaluation mode so that it will disable this dropout and batch normalization layers if any. And again I wanted to calculate the testing accuracy as well. So these are the parameters taken, and by disabling the gradient, so this time during the testing you no need to update the parameters. We should not update the parameters during the testing process. So we have to set no gradient, which disable the gradient calculation during the evaluation of the model. Done. With the pair of images and the labels in the test loader, so same is the process. We need to move the images to the device and labels to the device and perform the forward pass and do the predictions and calculate the total number of samples and total number of correct predictions and find the text accuracy. Anybody got executed? Revaluation? Okay. I am going to evaluate yeah, 3 members, 4 members, Srija, Sai Teja, and Deepak. Where is Mr. Deepak? And Puneet Sai. Who is this? Puneet Sai. Okay, fine. Srija? Okay. We'll go to the next concept. Shall I? In the CNN implement, I didn't expect you guys will take this much of time for implementing the CNN. So, see, you have to catch one important point here. Initially, we phrased the syllabus for you guys in the project school learning, embedded learning is started with the generative models. Okay, directly from the variational autoencoders. Hope you have seen the syllabus. But afterwards, we came to realize that how far you are able to implement and write one particular line of statement. Still, I am facing struggling that you people are struggling to write a single line of the code. Okay, so this what we wanted to overcome, you guys. But the thing is, you can do this by practicing only. Right. Let me take you the part to the next one. So what, guys, can someone Give me the loss that, the validation accuracy and the training accuracy that you got. What is the training accuracy you got? Sorry, 50. Huh? Okay, test accuracy? Sorry, 50. Okay, guys. So, training accuracy is 50, test accuracy is 50. So, very less. Can you guess the reason why? Can you analyze the reason why? One simple reason. Anybody? Guys, you got the training accuracy is 50% and test accuracy is 50%. Okay? You can try with the different architectures as well. But still, you cannot get the very good performance up to the mark. Can you identify, analyze the reason why? Any one of you? One thing you could say is, my network architecture is so simple, right? Okay, 2 convolution layers with the 3 fully connected layers. You can try with another one also. You can try with another one also. Try out. That is one scenario. So with this scenario, identify all the different cases, whatever you had used. One thing is you identified network architecture is so simple. It's not that simple, but of course, you can increase more number of layers. What is another thing? How is the data size? Anybody? Anybody remembered how many images we are having in those 2 subfolders? Who attended the earlier sessions can answer this question. 30, correct. So both of these folders are having only 15 and 15 images. Do you feel that this data is sufficient for training and learning? That is main reason. This is one scenario. Good. Let me take you to the concept of transfer learning with this point as the lead point. Listen all of you. The title itself is the transfer learning. What does it mean? Learning by transferring the knowledge. Say suppose you have been given let us see the real world scenario example. You have been asked to perform some particular task as a student of 3rd year. So this task is new to you. But as a 3rd year student, you have an experience of 2 years, 1st and 2nd year, something you had learned it. Obviously, you could use the same knowledge that you got in the previous 2 years in order to try to attempt and solve this issue which is given in right now. So, the meaning that you are transferring the learning or the knowledge that you gained earlier on some other task. Correct or not? Okay. The same is the logic here. So transfer learning is the same thing using this convolution neural networks, which is already trained on some other task, can be used for improving the performance in another task. For example, a model trained based on the knowledge gained on the identifying or classifying the coarse data set can be used for classification of truck data set. Can't I? Because both the data sets are having the similarities. All are they transporting vehicles, 4 wheels with 4 seating, 4 or more than 4 seating capacity likewise. That similarity is there. So the knowledge that you gained on the previous task can be transferred to perform on the another task to improve its performance. So this made me to come to this particular one. So what is the situation right now? I am having less data. The training data is very less. So you no need to worry about this one. You can work with the transfer learning concept, right? I can improve my data performance for this, whatever has been implemented for the classification of animated data set by using the transfer learning concept. I can enhance and boost up the performance of the classification task, right? Okay, that's what I'm going to do. What is the basic idea of this transfer learning is, say suppose there is one model along with the, what is the model? This is the body part, network architecture, and this head is nothing but the task which you had performed. Say suppose the classification task of 10 labels. Okay, so it's been divided into two parts, body part and head part likewise, the model and the header part, which is nothing but the classification part. So there is one model which has been trained on the data 1 in order to perform the task 1, which gave the predictions of predictions 1. This is one thing is there. Now the same model 1, you can use by the concept of transfer learning to perform another task which will do the predictions on another data set 2. The model defined for data set 1 has been used on the data set 2 in order to get the predictions 2. So what I used here, you just look at it here. The task, I mean to say, whatever the task has been implemented, the model has been into the two parts. One is the model part, second is the head part. We divided into this one. What is these two parts that I am going to tell you? So one example of this one, for example, you can use the convolution model which has been trained on the ImageNet data set. ImageNet is the huge data set which is having 1000 labels, 1000 varieties of classifications you can do on this huge ImageNet data set. So a convolution model which has been trained on this ImageNet data set that has performed the prediction of 1000 class labels. This convolution architecture can be used by the transfer learning. Only the look at here. This is divided into two parts. One is the convolution layer part and the second is the fully connected layer part. So when you implement the convolution layer, we have seen in the beginning, starting from the very base, edge, step by step, edge detection, vertical, horizontal and the nose. In the very first class I had shown you a picture. Applying kernels one after other. What is the meaning of that 64 kernels, 32 kernels, 128 kernel? All the different varieties of kernels which will identify each of the minute part of the image is to be applied. Step by step it will go on. For the very lower level, it will identify the vertical, horizontal, cross, standing, diagonal, all these kernels. At the next level, combination of these three into the next, different shapes. Likewise, it will go on, right? So, what we are doing is this convolution layers is for the feature extraction and this fully connected layers is performing the actual specific oriented task, whether it is the classification or the image generation, image caption generation or something whatever it is, right? So, this convolution layers which has been trained on the image data set can be used for the another data set that is called the medical data set with a suitable fully connected layer for this medical data set which can be used for predicting one of the two classes, malignant and benign. So here is this is the model. What you did it here, the knowledge that you gain on the classifying 1000 labels has been used to classify two label data set. Okay, right. Okay. So generally if you look at the typical CNN architecture, there are two parts. One is the convolutional base which will do the extraction of the features. This convolutional base consisting of what? Comprising of convolution layers and the max pooling layers. This we are calling it as a convolutional base, which way we can get from the different features will be extracted for the given image. Now these extracted features will be passed to the specific task of classification that is called the classifier. So that the typical convolution CNN architecture will be divided into parts. One is the convolution base, second is the classifier, which will do the classification of these features into one of the labels which has been defined. So that is those are the two parts. Now, if you are applying a transfer learning. The knowledge gained from one task is going to be transferred into another task. What you're supposed to do is, this classifier has to be replaced with the classifier which suits for your own specific task. That's what I am saying. You just recollect from the previous slide. Here is the classifier is performing, implementing the fully connected layer which will classify one among 1,000 labels. Okay? Now you are using the transfer learning technique. Nothing but what you are using is the convolution architecture you are using, not all the fully connected layers. It depends on, we'll see that. So even if you use all the fully connected, but the last fully connected layer has to be changed, right? Because the task of the medical data set is predicting one among the two classes only. That's what. Okay? This. Okay? So when you are replacing or repurposing that pre-trained model for your specific task, this thing has to be done. That classifier part has to be removed and replace the classifier which suits for your data along with the fine tuning of your model. That fine tuning related to one of these strategies. The first strategy is, look at here, entire convolution part along with the classifier part has to be trained. This is the strategy 1. Second is, few of the convolution layers only to be trained. This blue highlighted is the training. This white is frozen. You need not to update all the parameters of all the layers. You can update the parameters of specific layers only during the training pass. That is the strategy 2. Then the third case is, you can keep all the convolution layers. I mean, feature extraction part is untrained. Directly only you are going to train the classifier part, meaning that you are using fixed feature extraction vectors or the tensors that you are getting from the pre-trained model. So one among these 3 strategies will be applied when you are transfer learning from a pre-trained model to your specific task. This easily you can remember and guess with the concept with the help of size similarity matrix. You can take the decision how you can do this fine tuning of your pre. This will help you. Looking into this one, you can see with respect to the data size and the data similarity, you can take a decision. Okay, see the first case. The case is, the data set is large but different from the pre-trained model data set. You have seen the case of that CNN trained on the ImageNet data set has been used for the medical data set. Clear? That you need to analyze this one. So if you are working with a large data set which is different from the pre-trained models, which leads to which of the earlier 3 strategies? Your data set is very large. So you no need to worry about the model overfitting, right? But your data set is different from the pre-trained model data set. We don't know anything about the features that has been extracted, which you need to extract for the current data set because you have been trained on another completely different data set. So what you're supposed to do? First strategy, very good. First strategy means training from scratch. Okay, training from scratch supposed to be. Now you might have a question of, if you are training from scratch, meaning that all the parameters are up, what is the need of pre-training, the loading? Anybody can guess what is the need of this transfer learning? Anyhow, you want to try out with, same is the example for our case, small data set with a small architecture we tried, but we failed, we want to improve. What the suggestion you gave? Increase the architecture. In order to increase the architecture, I have to define my own architecture and implement it. Instead of doing that, can't I take the already defined architecture? That's what I am doing here. So still, this transfer learning will help you in this case to use already defined, instead of putting efforts again on defining and training the architecture, you can use the existing one. Right. So this is the first strategy. The second case, quadrant 4. This is the case, small data set and similar to the pre-trained model data set. So this leads to the scenario, strategy 3. Exactly. So what is the strategy 3? You can use the fixed features vectors and just replace the classifier. Top layer has to be replaced with the number of classes. That is sufficient. Okay? You are not training this feature extraction feature part of this typical CNN. Only the classifier you are training. The blue color filled one is the training process. Next two cases are quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. Quadrant 2 is the case with a large data set similar to the pre-trained model data set, and this is small data set dissimilar to the pre-trained model data set. Obviously, this leads to the any strategy you can use, but preferably strategy 2. Chance is there for you, but preference is for strategy 2. What is the strategy 2? Few layers, not exactly the half. Few layers, freezing few layers and training the other layers. Now tell me, will you freeze the top layers of the network or bottom layers of the network? Top layers. You freeze the top layers and will train the bottom layers. Why? Remember, in the CNN, when you started building this network from left to right with the filters, what I am saying is, very basic beginning filters will help, which are very general and task independent. Going onwards to the higher level, those filters will be task specific and which are dependent. According to decision has to be taken, and how many layers also need to be frozen and trained has to be defined. Right. So in this case, you can leave, will take only top of the layers for training, leaving the rest of the layers as untrained. For the case of quadrant 3, we'll do the reverse. We'll go more deeper into the network. We'll take some more number which is greater than this quadrant 3 number of layers for training and leaving very less number of layers for not updating. This is how this size similarity matrix will help you for taking a decision about fine tuning your pre-trained models. Okay, simply to say in concise way, this is how the transfer learning will work. We will get the pre-trained network, we'll modify the network according to your task, and with the prepared new data, we will retrain the model if required. We have seen the strategies. According to the strategy, this part would be there. Now this retrained network can be used for predictions on this new data which has been prepared. This is another example. Now what are the different pre-trained models that we are having? One is the LENet. Can you guess this? The same is the architecture that you had implemented just before. Okay? LENet 5 is the network with 5 layers, 2 convolution layers and 3 fully connected layers. This is same is the architecture given to you in the task. Another one is LXNet. and important thing is VGG16. Most popular one VGG16. This we can use for many different tasks. Okay. So looking at this, you can see here, this black colored is the convolution followed by the ReLU activations. A red colored is the max pooling layers, and this blue colored are the fully connected layers, and this last yellow color is the softmax activation. So in detailed view, I can give another visualization of this picture. So you can divide it into the blocks. The first convolutional block with the 2 convolution layers followed by the max pooling layer. Looking at this, what is the required input shape and size for this VGG16? 224 by 224 color image is the required input for this VGG16 model. So when you are working with the VGG16 model for your specific task, you have to meet this requirement. Your images should be of the size 224 by 224 when you are working with this VGG16. If I ask you to perform the same implementation classification task of animated data sets using VGG16 pre-trained model, the first thing you're supposed to do is apply the transformation to the size of the image 224 by 224. Clear? Right. Okay. If you look at the first convolution block, 2 convolution layer followed by the max pooling. So with the input image 224 by 224 of colored image, you are getting 112 by 64. Output is 64. Now can you tell me what is the padding, sizing and filters being applied? What is the size of the kernel? And striding and padding? Do it. 224 by 224 your input image. Can I expect the answer from this side? 224 by 224 is the image. With the 2 convolution layers and the max pooling, you are getting the output shape is 112 by 112. Okay. Tell me what is the kernel size of each of this convolution layer? Striding and padding values. Okay, if you are not able to guess, we will see by loading this model, no problem. So just have a look on this one. This is the first convolving block. Second convolution block with the 2 convolution layers followed by, you can see the layer numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Next third block 5, 6, 7. In the third block we have 3 convolution layers followed by the max pooling, and fourth block similar, fifth block is similar, coming to the last one. Up to this block you reach to the number of layers 13. So the outcome of all these 5 convolution blocks, you are getting an image 7 by 7, total 512 output features. 512 output features, meaning that this last convolution layer, 13th convolution layer is applying how many number of filters? 512 kernels it is applying. So final image you are getting is 7 by 7. We will see what are the size of this one also. Now this has to be flattened. So with the multiplication of 7 multiplied with 7 multiplied with 512, we will get these number of 25,088. This has been connected to the one fully connected layer and again one another fully connected layer at last softmax activation. Because this model has been trained on the ImageNet data set of 1000 classes, softmax activation had applied. Now if we are using the same thing to your own, accordingly the last activation is to be defined. Now I will give you some demonstration about this one to understand how to use this one, right? Will do or tomorrow? Tomorrow? Tell me. It will take 20 to 30 minutes of time. Okay. We'll do it in tomorrow's session, no problem for me. But I need you people to spend 20 minutes of time. Okay, 5 minutes I'll give you to finish up this task.